joining us today at Miniature Wargaming Labs. Today we'll be looking at the NYPD Cops from Funky Skulls Games as part of the Street Wars NYC game. Now, these models are essential to the game since there's a functionality in the game of where if you mess around too much, cops come out. Now, you can see here the mold lines of these models are good, and it looks like they're wearing their summer uniforms here. And there might be some slight pieces of flash, which I can understand. The utility belt is going to create some problems in the mold, but the pistol came out alright on this guy. Now, the biggest issue is probably in transit. The little gun barrel was bent right here, so I'll have to straighten that out, and I'll have to be careful about that. So, these guys will show up whenever your gang causes too much problems, kills too many people, robs too many people in a single game. So these are just some hard-working grass eaters coming by to make sure the streets stay quiet enough. Okay, let's straighten that out. Alright, so clean these guys up and get them on the table. Alright, so we have our NYPD officers put together here. Pretty easy to clean. Probably the most difficult spots is getting in to his nightstick and in between where he's got his arms crossed, and straighten out the gun barrel. That's a fiddly bit right there, but otherwise they cleaned up nicely. I only put a little bit of green stuff in the bases, trying to make sure I had like a smooth surface to some texturing in. But let's see how they look on my mat here. So I've got them on my Frontline Gaming mat, and so they look like good examples from the 30th Precinct there. Just some everyday grass eaters going about their work. Now, something I want to check to see if they fit in with some of my other miniature lines. So I'm looking at Studio Miniatures, Jules and Vincent here. And if they ever have any run-ins with the A-Team here. So you see the Studio Miniatures line fits in very well size-wise. But just in case they're in Tokyo Town, they run into some Yakuza, they fit in well with the 28mm North Star line there. And see how they fit in with the Spectre Miniatures Banker. So this 28mm line, they're a bit bulkier than the Spectre Miniatures one, but I think we've seen that from some of the sculpts there. Spectre makes a more frail object to these barrel-chested guys here. Well, let's see how it fits in with some of my terrain from MCP, my favorite for New York City. It's scaled for 40mm, but with the 3-inch rise and some of the door settings, it works great with 28mm. So you can see these guys work here. Counter height's a little high, but that'll be just fine. And whenever they're out on patrol, I get some files off Thingiverse from 3D Design Lab. This is a remix for something made by Terrain for Print. This is their brownstone. And so I made this for Batman and MCP, but it works out just fine for 28mm. And that's what 3D Design Lab was going for. So overall, a good buy, and you do need 2 cops to play Street Wars NYC, but they'll make good background characters for other games also. Well, thank you for joining us at Miniature Wargaming Labs, and we'll see you next time.